Hello, everyone. You're listening to Scientific Healing with Dr. Anastasia Chopelas. I know the power of vibrational healing by combining physics and ancient healing arts to develop my own system that has amplified results with hundreds of my clients and healing students. Discover how you can energetically attract new clients. Working as a healer or coach, go to scientifichealer.com/scheduler to have a conversation with me. My next guest, Jeff Peoples, is someone you need to pay attention to. I saw him speaking at Harvard and wanted to have him on the show because he could teach us something about how he manifests success. He founded Windowbrook Inc. in 1988 and built it into a leader in the postal and logistics software industry, serving thousands of clients. Basically, he saves you money on your mail. His company's software drives 50%, yes, folks, 50% of the mail that USPS handles. And this is not the only company Jeff has started and developed into success. He started others by bringing to market advanced technologies. As a fast implementer, he has been extremely agile. That's why little companies work way better than big ones in a lot of ways in adapting to market and technological shifts. I wanted to give you a picture of what Jeff has produced over the last 30 years. It's not a particular strategy or plan. It's actually who you are being. You may have heard this from me before. Jeff, like other successful business leaders and entrepreneurs, has his own personal success strategies that directly translate into business and financial success. I'd like you to hear that from him directly. Welcome to the show, Jeff. I'm so delighted that you're here.
Oh, thanks for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here. There's so much opportunity in the world today. We're in such a fantastic time, even though there's so much bad news when you hear the news, but when you're with people like you, Anastasia, there's so much opportunity, and when people generate wealth and value through who they're being, it makes such a big difference, not only to them, but to the people that they connect with. So I'm so happy you do this show.
Oh, thank you so much. I do it for two reasons, and my main reason is to give hope to people because so many times they've been told by so many other people, whether it's their doctors or their teachers or their parents or their relatives, that it can't be done.
Yes. And on that, so many things have been big challenges in my life, but I'll just tell you, part of what I look at is that all of the challenges are just, the God of my understanding just giving me an opportunity to step over something bigger. So in other words, it's just like, wow, oh, thanks for an opportunity just to learn something. They're all gifts in a special way, and all of a sudden I can say, oh, okay. At first I'm like, oh my goodness, it's a trouble, it's something that's difficult, but after I go through it and I learn from it, I realize that I become something bigger. And that's really, I hope all of the entrepreneurs that are listening to this realize that who you become as you grow your business is something bigger and better. And it's really becoming something that's bigger, that will enables you to create more value for others in the world. So I loved your introduction about basically who you're being as opposed to just worrying about one formula, because that from that being something who you grow into is something that is always going to be value to you because you've grown into something bigger and you can create more value for others. So I thought that was very appropriate for your audience.
Yes, and I know from personal experience and from watching other entrepreneurs grow and expand is that our business is a reflection of who we are. And the bigger you can grow, the more your business will expand and grow and become successful. Because it's all based on intention. So I'd like people to know exactly how you started this business way back in 1988. I mean, most businesses don't flourish that long. Most of them fail in the first couple of years. So you've been doing this for a long time. So could you tell us how you got started?
Sure. Well, somebody said, remember, back in the early 80s actually was when I first started. And it's all about being inspired. So back when I was very, very young, I used to write thank you letters to my grandfather and my others. But one, my grandfather was uh, a man I loved dearly, but he could also be a tough guy. He landed in America on October 29th, 1929, and in that time he was, came over with just $5 and became, very, very successful in America. But what we or his grandkids would write a thank you note. If you ever made a spelling mistake, he would write back and he would correct your thank you note or your note, and he would send it back. And I was like, oh my goodness, I never wanted to have that embarrassment. And so a little bit later, what I found was that I could, even before an IBM PC came out, there was an operating system called CPM, and I could create a programmable keyboard that could check spelling. So I just type up some letters, check spelling, and boom, I would have that confidence, and I would write letters. I'd still handwrite letters because I love handwriting letters. But having that technology, so that challenge drove me to building a better technology. And from that, I just got in love with the software business and building computers, and that. Then somebody asked me, well, if you could have anything in the world, what would you really like to see? And I thought back in the 80s, I was making information really easy to access. So WindowBook was the first windowing environment on a DOS platform. So what we did is we made it so that on a DOS platform, we could have a window for a table of contents and a window for an index, and you could make it so that you could have another window for the article or the main thing that you were reading. And we developed this technology way before electronic books were really thought of, because we wanted to make it so it's easy to have information to distribute, and make it so, because when people have the right information at the right time, they can perform better. So we did DOS manuals, we did all sorts of things that would make it so that it was very easy to access information. That was just inspiring for me, because I think that people have the opportunity to fulfill their full potential when they get the information. And that's why I think part of why you do these interviews is because you help people get the information that inspires them to be their best.
Absolutely. And also how to get well, even though they've been told they can't.
Yes, yeah, and a lot of that is just about information, because if you just go with the traditional way of doing things, so if I just went with the traditional way, I would never have thought about electronic books and all the ways. Now, I still think paper books are great. Please read all the paper books you can. But electronic books have their own dimension of value, and we would distribute those electronic books. And one of the industries that we found was greatly underserved was all the complexities of mailing and shipping. There's over 10,000 ways you can mail and ship the same item. So what we did is we took all that complex information and put it into an electronic book. Then we took certain parts of it and made it into calculators. And we took part of that and we made it into these tools that make it so you can automate the information. And we grew that from being just a very, very small company to something that we have about 60 full-time people, and we've got thousands of clients who have literally helped them save billions of dollars over the last 30 years. And it all becomes something where you find what a client needs, and yes, the industry changes. A lot, the whole technology for creating electronic books was demonetized and shifted, and we found that we had over 1,000 clients loving what we were doing. And as things shifted, we just found out what is it that you need in this new world, and you take one client and you keep adding things by creating a great relationship with them and finding out how you can serve them in a whole new way.
Yes, that's absolutely the case with every single business that's running, is that when you have a set of loyal clients or loyal, patients or loyal whatever, is you just keep helping them. You keep helping them, in your case, saving money and getting things done very efficiently and providing them like ebooks. I didn't know you started in ebooks, and now ebooks are outselling print books by a large factor, right?
Yes.
And who would have thought that would have happened?
Well, exactly. And, I can tell you that we've gone from ebooks to making full software systems to automate all the logistics and transportation and distribution of mailing. And now we're into another thing. I can tell you there's going to be a whole nother revolution in advertising and value creation based on blockchain. And I'm a big investor in something called Block V, and making it so that there's new technologies available. So we go from an the internet of information distribution, where you're basically getting information on your screen, to an internet of value distribution. And we're going to be creating all new types of ways that you can get more intelligent coupons and more intelligent gift cards, so that people get real value right on the spot, as opposed to just learning. And learning is fantastic, but each time you build a new layer of information and a new layer of ability, and this time we're going to be coming up with ways that with the blockchain, you can make it easier for people to distribute value and distribute their work products and things like that. So there's going to be an infinite number of new ways that people can add value to other people, and that's we're just going to take that same client. We're going to help them with the next generation of their need and the next generation, and that's the beauty of it, is that technology keeps making it so that people can actually get closer and closer to their true value. And what I mean by that, I don't think that any of us were put on earth to really work in a factory or to do manual labor or any of these kinds of things that people do right now. And as we build technology, we can be freed up to be more of what I call our higher self. And I think that that's going to be something that's going to happen more and more. And creating technology to make it so that we're much more productive in the hour that we put in, will make it so that we have more time and money freedom to explore our greatness, and have it so that people can learn how to self-heal themselves. There'll be all sorts of things that come out of this, making it so that people are more productive with the technology, and making it so that they can become more aware of who they really are, which is always, at least in my experience, much better than what they initially knew of themselves.
Well, yeah, I completely agree with that. And I remember back when I was in school in the late 70s, we used to have to stand by our instruments and make little tick marks on the paper that was coming out, and then I'd have to take the paper and use rulers and draw lines and read it. And then as soon as we were able to marry the instrument with a computer, it allowed me to just set it and forget it, and I didn't have to repeat it 5 times to make sure that everything was between the limits of the paper. In other words, I could expand my baseline electronically, see what was going on, and all of a sudden things got a lot easier. And then it was able to take that information and download it into plotting software, and I didn't have to cut the papers out and stack them by hand. I could just do it like bang, bang, bang. So what used to take me days now took me half an hour.
That's fantastic. And you can then, with now that you took all that time that you weren't doing that manual labor of cutting and ticking and all those kinds of things, you could then have higher and better thoughts and deeper understanding. And that's awesome, because then you can create more value in less time, and then you're more productive. That's fantastic.
Right, exactly. And that's exactly what we're talking about, is moving. Like, I remember when I did my very first full funnel, it took me weeks to do it. Weeks. And I'm really geeky. I'm really good on the computer. It took me weeks, and now you can do it in a matter of an hour just by buying an appropriate software.
Yes.
Right? And
Yes.
Even better is if you hire somebody else to do it for you.
Right.
And then you can go on and be the genius in whatever work that you're doing. Like, I can do more healing work. I can do more teaching,
Yes.
Right? And I can write books instead of spending my time fooling around, cutting out diagrams and taping them together in just the right way and taking a photograph and,
Yes.
It's like,
People talk about the information explosion. We're in a value creation explosion. So, for instance, what you're doing right now is you're creating insights. People can listen to this and they can, wow, what used to take them college degrees, in just a short bit of time, you can get an insight, and they can apply that insight, and that insight can help somebody else, and it just is like a explosion of value creation. And that's one of the things I think that's so wonderful about what's happening in the world right now. The ability for people to create value for other people is exploding at an exponential rate, and that's going to create more and more value, and everybody is going to grow, and everybody's going to benefit from this.
I agree. Of course, there's also the discernment that you have to apply to what's
Yes.
out there, because even in the world of science publications, which something I did for 40 years, in the world of science publications, you have a lot of people producing a lot of stuff that will disappear. It will disappear
Yes.
down to the black hole of irreproducible results and things.
Right.
Things like that. But after a while, of course, the winning strategies do come out, and the people that are sustaining, like you, I've been in business now for quite a number of years, and you have been in business for at least 30 years, right? So
Yes.
the people that are sustaining, those are the ones that you want to learn from. These are the ones that you want to, listen to your strategies. Like I wanted, we talked about what websites I want people to go to jeffpeoples.tv and listen to some, he's got videos up there and audios, and he's got his blog posts up there for you to get inspiration. Because as you can hear, Jeff is a very inspiring person. So not only successful in business, but I think you inspire yourself as well.
Yeah. Look, we have such a fantastic opportunity. We have this life, and what are we going to do with this life? What are we going to do? And I have this expression that, what am I going to love into existence? And it's like, oh, okay, what are the things that I'm going to love so much that I'm going to continually be able to focus on them, so that they come in and they're not only loved by my vision, but they're actually here today, so that many people can enjoy them. And it could be a piece of software, it could be a new technology, it could be a better way of getting yourself healthy. I can remember, Anastasia, that years ago I was told that I had a cholesterol problem, and I had some other health issues, and I was going to, doctor recommended that I go on to some drugs, and I was concerned because once you start getting onto some of these drugs, you have to take them for the rest of your life, and I didn't want that. And I did the research, and I found out about green shakes, and this is more than 20 years ago, and all of a sudden, I started disciplining myself to always make myself a green shake. And I could tell you, I have a freezer full of them. I go and make, with kale and spinach and chard and other wonderful ingredients. I make these green shakes. And over time, that it made it so that my blood chemistry was better. And I now get results back from the doctor saying, oh, excellent. He literally writes excellent on there on the blood results, where it used to be something I would be recommended. And the little shifts like that, where I can learn, I can implement, and then for years and years and years and years, I can have not only the benefit for myself, but also just have it so that other people can see, oh, I can do this. And I had a business partner that really shifted his life. Some of these programmers, we remember, they used to smoke, they used to drink, they used to get overweight, and he started going on a diet inspired by some of these things that I was doing. And you never know who you can inspire just by you taking right action right now. Whether it's a green shake, or, as you know from the Harvard talk, I started to learn that. A friend of mine, so I go to these conferences, and a friend of mine, Peter Diamandis, has a conference where 360 people get together out in California once a year. It's called Abundance 360, and they're all about exponential entrepreneurs. And one of the people, one year, Peter created this artificial intelligence system that tried to match up 10 people. Of all the people there, these are the 10 people that you should get together with. And one of the people on my list, on the back of my name tag, was Dave Asprey. He's the creator of Bulletproof Coffee. And so I said, Dave, of all the things you recommend, what do you think is the most important thing for me to implement? And he said, cold therapy. And I said, geez, whoa. And he had a very expensive, I think it was $48,000 nitrogen cryogenic machine that he'd get into and cool down his body. And I said, well, geez, I travel all the time. I've got businesses over in Ukraine and all over the world. And so I said, well, that's not very practical to me. But so I started doing is cold showers. So, and you'd be surprised that, at the end of every shower, or if you just take the whole shower cold, it invigorates your body. There's a lot of research that has come out that says it makes your vascular system expand and contract. It's like a workout for them. Makes it more energy. Moves some white fat to brown fat. Makes it more valuable to your overall system. And once again, that's a little shift that you start doing over time. Not only could it be fantastic for your health, but it can be fantastic for other people to say, oh my goodness, I can get out of the way I've been doing things and start doing things in a new way that makes it so that my health is better, and I inspire the people that are near me to do something. Now, you're not going to inspire all the people, but even if you just make a big difference in one person's life, and that can make it a whole chain reaction of going from one person to another, just because you decided to get out of the normal way of doing things and get to a slightly healthier way of doing things.
Well, yes, and with regards to those cold showers, after we had our first conversation a couple of weeks ago, I started thinking about all the ways I get cold, and I remembered that I used to live in Germany, and in the winter it would snow, and I still would go out running in my shorts. And I remember one store owner looked at me and said, wow, you must be really tough. I see you running out in the snow very fast in your shorts.
Oh, fantastic.
And just like you said about the cold showers, you don't like them. I didn't like running like that, but then when I got back and I took my hot shower, I did the expansion and contraction, and boy, I'll tell you, I was sharp for the rest of the day.
Exactly. It will wake you up. You go and do that. You don't need to have a cup of coffee after that. There's nothing wrong with coffee. I love it. But there's nothing, no need. All of a sudden you have that because you've got that energy built into your body. Your body is generating all that energy, and that's just fantastic to experience and to be around. So that shop owner was, very observant.
Yes.
Get out there. Yeah, and I think that's you getting outside of your comfort zone. Yeah, it's always simple for so many people to just say, oh, it's snowing out. I'm going to skip my workout today. But you went out there, and you went out and you exercised, and you got that differential in temperature. Your body is designed to do these things and to be able to accommodate both hot and cold. And as you expand those things and you get your body to work, it's a workout for your body.
Yeah, and you've been doing these, as we were talking, you said you were way ahead of the curve like 20 years ago doing green shakes. I started running over 50 years ago.
Wow.
Right?
Fantastic.
And I've been doing it a long time. And so, I just turned 65 and I'm on Medicare, and I'm laughing and I'm going, I don't use the doctor because I don't take anything and I'm never sick.
That is so fantastic. Congratulations as an early adopter. And just think of all the people you inspired, and because you start to make these shifts, and all of a sudden you're healthier, and the value you can create for others, that is awesome, Anastasia. That's awesome, awesome, awesome.
Right. In doing these things, I also wanted to emphasize that it doesn't take any more time to take a cold shower than it does to take a hot shower. And it doesn't take any more time to fix a green shake than it does to fix a cup of coffee.
Right.
It's about the
Or
same
yes,
amount of
exactly.
time.
Yeah. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I'm going to say it's faster and it's more ecological.
You're listening to Scientific Healing with Dr. Anastasia Chopelas. We'll return right after a short break. You can actually do simple physical manipulations on yourself to change your mental, emotional state, release blocks, and even release things like pain in your body. And of course, the backup to all of these techniques, the backup is to work out also the spiritual, the emotional, the mental, and then relieve the physical. I have a process that does that. We go through one step at a time and clean up all of, so you didn't, whatever condition that you have, whether it's mental, emotional, spiritual, or physical, whatever condition that you have, especially if it manifested in the physical, was usually years in the making. You didn't get it overnight, years in the making. One of the ways that I work is I find out when something got manifested in your body, like go back to that year, and then rewrite the story, uncreate the story, redo the story, so it's as if it never happened. It's as if you imagine your life as a tree, and here you are at birth, and each decision that you make will create a different branch, right? So you have all these branches of possibilities, and you're ending up somewhere along the branch. And by doing energy work, it's as if you did not make that decision, and instead you made a different decision, and you end up on another branch. So that's the way I view energy healing with regards to whatever your life is now. And the great thing is that we are infinite beings of light, powerful beings of light, and we can change our history, and we can rewrite things, and we can create whatever life we want. And I'm ready to have a conversation with you if that's what you'd like to have in your life. Either learn it for yourself or to have me help you with it. So I have my contact information is scientifichealer.com/contact or scientifichealer.com/appointment. So you can either write me or have a conversation with me, and I always answer whatever queries come through. And I do it personally because I'm very interested in hearing what you would like to hear. Welcome back. This is Dr. Anastasia Chopelas on Scientific Healing Radio. Let's dive deeper into our conversation. So, in doing these things, I also wanted to emphasize that it doesn't take any more time to take a cold shower than it does to take a hot shower. And it doesn't take any more time to fix a green shake than it does to fix a cup of coffee.
Right.
It's about the same
yes,
amount of
exactly.
time.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I'm going to say it's faster and it's more ecological. So what I do know is that when I take cold showers, they're just not going to be that really long shower. There's nothing wrong with taking a long shower, but if you're worried about water usage and keeping the amount of clear, good water supply good, well, it reuses less water, and it also you have more time in the day because you're not going to be hanging out in that shower. You're going to be invigorated in the first 3 minutes. You're going to get a fantastic wash. You're going to be scrubbing up because in a vigorous way. You're going to be moving on to your day. So and all these things, they compound. By the way, when you go in and you have that invigorating cold shower, and then later in the day you have a green shake. All these things compound and they add. So it really makes it so that you not only are creating value, but you're also reducing the burden on the system. Because Anastasia, you haven't had any any need for medications. Neither have I, and so I don't have any prescription drugs that I take, and I get back excellent. I still do annual checkups and things like that, because I think it's good to make sure that everything is in good order. But you're less of a burden on the system,
Well,
because you're so healthy.
right. And not only that, but one of the things that I've noticed with people that get, I don't know how old you are. I just turned 65. So, but one of the things that happens with people that get up in age, like in their 60s and beyond, is that I notice that their mental capacity, their ability to remember things, their sharpness, their ability to speak quickly like you do, you have a full grasp and are able to flow very quickly. That starts going downhill. And by not being on medication, by doing these little things every day, like your cold showers and your green shakes, and I'm sure you do other things too.
Yeah, I can talk quite a bit about that.
Yeah.
But hey, first off, you look great for 65. I mean, really, that's just an indication of the vibrancy that you've been doing over the last 50 years. So that's
Well,
that's fantastic.
and it wasn't it wasn't a continuous good health. I went through a period 25 years ago where I still did all the things for having good health, ate a good diet, drank a lot of water, got enough sleep, etc., etc. But I was under so much stress. With a difficult marriage and a difficult career, I was under so much stress, I had to rethink things, and I did get sick. And yes. I was like you, where, the doctor says, oh, you need to be on cholesterol medication and blood pressure medication, and you need a big operation, la, la, la. And I said, no, I don't. And I went about solving it.
Yes. Yeah, and all these things, it's like, I think that your scientific background really helped you, because, all of these things, look, I'm a deep, deep lover of God, but you want to have a very, very scientific balance on all these things, because it's something, and I think that discipline, that scientific background that you have really helped, and I hope you inspire, especially a lot of women to become, or young ladies to become inspired with becoming better at science, and having a scientific method, and looking at things critically, and doing that, because that really is very, very valuable. Having a mind where you can think about things in a very deep way, that in a scientific way, is right, fantastic. And you're a leader in that.
Well, that's the analytical process, where you come up with a hypothesis and you test it, and then you try it in that not quite there, and then you test it again, and you keep testing it until you formulate something that's different and new, and it works. Right. So that's how I approach the healing work, and also everything. And and what you were saying about lover of God, the more you study nature, the more you can appreciate God.
Absolutely. Can you look? I just can't even look out into the cosmos and think that this was made by. It's got to be made by some beautiful being. Or looking at going, the more you spend in nature, more time you spend. I totally agree with that. It's something where, if you are really studying nature deeply and you don't realize that there's an intelligent being behind this, I think that you're missing something. Really.
Well, yeah, and there's always the argument between creationism and evolution, and the more I learn, the more creation looks like the way we happened.
Yeah, well, I think we both are created and we evolve. I mean,
yes, I think it's not
part of the creation.
Right, it's not evolution. Or, it's and.
Right.
So you so name a couple of other things, because I want to get to a couple of other questions that you do.
So by the way, another thing that made a big difference in my life is intermittent fasting. And I do that. So I think that our biology, and then you can. So many people have written about this, but for instance, I only eat 6 hours a day, maybe 8 hours a day. So at noon is the first time I put anything but fat into my body.
Oh,
So
interesting.
I can have like some coconut oil or some olive oil or some butter in the morning, because it's because I have found that it's really valuable to give my body some time to rest. Now, I used to, years ago, I used to do longer fasts. I'm not necessarily always recommending that to everybody, but it's something to look at. If you look at many religions and many different types of health practices, that some form of giving your body a rest makes a lot of sense. And so
yes, and that's okay, and that is really healthy for a lot of people. And I want to
yes,
just caution
only
people.
for a lot, yes.
Right, I just want to caution people is first check with your doctor, and second,
Yes.
if you are feeling any effects from adrenal fatigue at all, any effects, and some of those effects might be if you stand up quickly and you feel a little dizzy or lightheaded, that's adrenal fatigue kicking in. And if you have that problem, then intermittent fasting is not for you, at least not now, until the adrenals are fixed. Right. So there are some contraindications for doing that. And I have done fasting for 3 weeks. And right, and I did it. Right, it's a lot, but what I did was I had vegetable broths, and I made sure that it totaled approximately 400 calories, because that's how much the brain needs to function.
Right.
And the thing that fasting does is it detoxes you like nothing. Like I now use a detox system that where I eat strictly vegan and very, very low fat and lots of greens over a period of 3 weeks. And there's a process to it to detox different things. But fasting, the intermittent fasting, really helps your body clean itself up. And that's why it's helping you so much.
Yeah, I've done a longer fast. I just don't,
Yeah, it's not.
I agree with you. That's why I was
It's
one of
not,
the last things I mentioned. I'm
yeah.
not necessarily, and I don't even know if it really is. I just know it's really valuable for me because this is something I've been experimenting with for many years, but I don't. This isn't something that you should do without, as you just mentioned, really investigating.
Right, really investigating, like people that are that have blood sugar issues, that have adrenal issues, that have thyroid issues, all have to be really careful with how long they go without eating, because you really tax your adrenals without the food for if you are fasting 18 hours a day. And I have read about it, and I do know that that's very beneficial to people that can take it on. Very beneficial.
And I've heard by some people that it's actually genetically, it may just be that genetically I have a predisposition for being able to do this. For me, it's a more clear brain. I literally, if I eat certain foods, that my brain is less clear. But if I am on one of these intermittent fasts, my brain is more clear.
Yes, absolutely. And I do know that. Not only is your brain clear, your skin is clear, your eyes are clear, and probably they've gotten a lighter color.
Yes. By the way, all of those things you just mentioned have been things people say, my goodness, your skin looks great. And so those are things people have mentioned.
Yes, exactly. And I know that because I do this fast 2 times a year, or this detox 2 times a year, and sometimes I'll take a week and do the first week of it when I'm feeling a little sluggish. And basically this 2 times a year, it's a full month, a full 28 days. And by the time I come out of it, everybody thinks I had a facelift.
Fantastic. And it didn't cost you that much.
No, and there's no surgical recovery period, no bruises, no nothing. I call it energetic detox.
Yes.
So, just going back. What's the biggest lesson you learned that to do over again you would pass on to someone else just starting out in their business?
Well, the worst advice is bad advice. I mean, you got to be very. It's very very expensive. So investigate things, and uh, and this will take you time. But and the one thing I will tell you though, no matter what, if you don't have the stick to itness, I just, oh my goodness, the listening to, hey, I made a commitment to do this. I'm going to make this work. I'm going to come up. I may not have to do it the way that I originally planned. I love planning, by the way, but doesn't mean that you always have to do things exactly as planned. Sometimes you have to be flexible and do things in a new way with the same ultimate vision in mind, but the exact way you fulfill that vision. So one of the things I would say for sure is you can retreat, but don't quit. So if you have something that's really you want to love into existence, retreat. Because look, sometimes you can say, hey, look, I'm going to go for a fast, but this really, my inner guidance system tells me it's really not right now, or something else. Okay, you can delay that. It's not like you have to be that hard on yourself. Listen to your inner guidance system, or you may, it may take you a couple of times of doing things like green shakes, or some kind of coming up with a correct kind of vegetable broth that is really right for you. But by being persistent and staying with it and saying, look, I know at the end of this, there's been enough people that have told me that there is a way to my better health through shifting who I am, and part of who I am is the kind of person that investigates and learns how to eat better and exercise better, and I think breathing better and hydrating better. All these things can make it so that you can deliver more value for yourself and for others. So if I would say just one thing is, you don't need to quit. You can try retreating.
Yeah, and another thing that I was hearing you saying really was to just try one thing at a time until you get it right, and then move on to the next one.
Yeah, too many variables. You know that from a
Mm-hmm.
scientific background.
Mm-hmm.
You can't get the confidence in one thing if you have too many things going on. So you can say, look, I'm going to, for the next period of time, work on getting this one habit. It may be, look, I'm going to get up and I'm going to read, or I'm going to develop a fantastic first hour. It's another thing, by the way, over the years, I've developed is what are my routines, and
Mm-hmm.
I have all sorts of things written out about the day before. I write out about things that I'm going to accomplish in the morning before. So I wake up early, and so I have some time before the demands of the family, and I get in. I serve certain breathing exercise. That's when I take my cold showers. It's when I get a time to read. By the way, I journal. My goodness, I'm looking at stacks and stacks and stacks of journals, and this is something I highly recommend to people. I can go back to any year, and I can say some of the things that were going on by looking at some of those journals. And for me, it's not just about writing what I did, or it's I do this sometimes, what I call dream scripting, which means these are the things I would love, and I write out with all the emotion. Oh, how wonderful it would be to do this, or have this, or become this, and to shift sometimes I'm just shifting my to-do list to my to-be list. And who am I really going to be today? Am I going to be a man of commitment? Am I going to be honoring my word? Am I going to be inspiring to others so that they can step and jump up to their next level of greatness? Am I going to be able to meet somebody at where they're at and explain something so that they can get it and move on to their next level, because they have this precious, precious, precious thing called their life. And when they just see something new or see something in a better light or from a better perspective, they can utilize this incredibly beautiful gift of their life in a new way that can help somebody else. So
That's awesome. I love everything that you said. First of all, loving it into existence, being persistent, sticking with it, retreating and trying a new tact, and then becoming their best selves so they can benefit themselves and also others. And the first hour of the day and journaling and breathing, these are all things that I have either done or do. Like I do breathing every day. I did journal for many, many years, and I don't journal so much anymore, only when I want to answer a question or I want to, move forward with something. But yeah, all of those things, I think that those things are what help make you be successful, have of all that mental juiciness to keep going.
yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
and by the way, and it makes life so much more fun. It's
It
like, oh my
does.
goodness, if you're just like, oh, I don't have enough energy, I can't do that. Compared to, oh, let's go out and hike up that mountain, and let's go in, and we're good. In I'm in Cambridge, Mass, right near MIT, and
Yes.
I'm going to be going over to the Boston Brownies in Boston, where they have the ability on the first day of the year. And it's actually many other days, but we all go into the ocean and crack the ice and go into the ocean and really enjoy an invigorating first day of the year. But you can do that. For a lot of people, you need to just keep building it up over time, and to have that ability to go beyond where most people go and to see things that most people don't get to see is just doing little things over time that makes it so that you have the conditioning to be able to enjoy. It's like you're running. You can't run you're at your best your first day, but you keep at it and you keep improving it, and you just keep loving that part of it, and it just becomes a joy all day.
Yes, it does. And I know that I still walk 3 to 5 miles every morning, but
Wow.
the morning that's essential to me. I have to do it. I guess when I saw movies of myself when I was younger, I never sat still. So I think I needed to get to get all the nervous energy out of my system, so I can't sit still.
Yes.
Yeah, so I thank you so much, Jeff. This was absolutely awesome. And also, I hope it inspired a lot of people to try something new, get out of their comfort zone, and really move forward to, developing themselves. And I want them to find you, so they can find your business at Window Book, one word, windowbook.com, to find out about how you can save lots of money using your mailing system. I didn't know there were that many ways to mail something.
Yeah, yeah. I will say for most of your readers, we do focus on the very largest mailers from a business perspective. So if you're people that are doing that's really for people that are doing $1 million or more, is windowbook.com,
Mm-hmm.
and but for Jeff Peoples, JEFFPEOPLES.TV, they can learn, and there's all sorts of things about writing better thank you letters, writing love letters to, which, by the way, handwritten letters, I didn't get a chance to talk about that, but, inspire somebody, connect with them one-to-one, write them a little thank you note, write them a little love letter, write them a little note. That's something that you can make a difference in somebody else's life today in such a simple way, just by writing them a little note about something that's really awesome and authentic about them that you appreciate.
That's really, really amazing advice. I know that when I get a handwritten note from somebody thanking me or just telling me how much they appreciate me, it just makes my day. So why not make somebody else's, right?
Yes, fantastic.
Okay, thank you so much, Jeff. I just loved having you on.
I appreciate you and what you do for your audience.
Thank you. So, thank you for listening to Scientific Healing and for our wonderful guest, Jeff Peoples. Let's you and I connect. I know some of you help or heal others intuitively or energetically and are ready to take your gift to create a huge impact far beyond where you are now. I invite you into a conversation right now. I've reserved time for you on my calendar at scientifichealer.com/appointment. If you like this video, click the like button below, share it with your friends, and be sure to subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.